Okay, welcome to this meeting of the Development Control and Regulatory Board. This meeting is being broadcast to the public via YouTube, so please turn your microphones on when speaking and turn them off when you've finished. We've got two substitutes today. Mrs. Fryer is here instead of Mr. Bannister, and Mr. Barclay is here instead of Mr. Lovegrove. And we also have a new member of the board, Mr. Barry Walker, is here from the Liberal Democrat group, so welcome to you all. So this is the first meeting of the board since the annual meeting of the council. So appointment of chairman is the first agenda item. And at the annual meeting on the 15th of May, Mr. Les Phillimore was appointed as chairman-elect. Could I have a proposer and seconder that Mr. Phillimore be appointed chairman? Thank you, Mr. Harrison. And oh, okay, we've got a proposer and a seconder. Everybody happy with Mr. Phillimore as chair? Thank you very much. Mr. Phillimore, you are appointed chair of the board for the rest of the council year, and I'll hand over to you for the rest of the meeting.
Good afternoon, thank you everybody, and I now take the chair once again. Welcome to the Development Control meeting on the, there we are, I've lost track, 30th of May 2024. Mr. Walker, a very warm welcome to you. Very important decisions made by this committee, so you're very welcome, and hope you find your feet and able to make positive contribution to the debates.
Thank you for your kind comments.
Pleasure. Right, agenda item 2 is the appointment of vice chairman. At the annual meeting of the County Council held on the 15th of May 2024, Mr. Brian Lovegrove was appointed as vice chairman. Can I have a proposer and a seconder that Mr. Lovegrove be appointed vice chairman? Don't you? Yeah, thank you very much. Everybody happy? Thank you, members. So we move on. Agenda item 3, minutes of the meeting held on the 26th of April 2024, pages 3 to 4 in your agenda pack. I propose that the minutes of the meeting held on the 26th of April 2024 are taken as read, confirmed and signed. Everybody happy? Thank you. I would just pull 2 points out from that last meeting. The first one is that this committee expressed a wish that officers wrote to the Director of Children and Family Services to express our concerns over the development. I think it was number 4. That letter did go, and Mr. Bray was courteously copied into that letter. And if I may take a little bit of liberty, Mr. Merry, you had a point to raise?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Also, the minutes acknowledged that it was the applicant, which is the obviously the design team, and we asked for them to, they said they were going to put measures in place to ensure future consultation processes were adequate, and we haven't had any feedback. Will we be getting that this meeting, or when will we be getting it? Thank you.
Okay, the officers just confirmed we don't have any feedback yet, but I would suggest that we just take a written response when it's ready, if everybody's happy. Yep, okay, thank you. So written response will follow. Thank you. Agenda item 4 is question time. I have not received any questions from the public. Agenda item 5, questions asked by members under Standing Order 7, bracket 3 and 7, bracket 5. I have not received any questions from members. Number 6 is to advise of any other items which the chairman has decided to take as urgent elsewhere on the agenda. There are no urgent items. Number 7 is declarations of interest in respect of items on the agenda. It is noted that all members who are also members of a parish, town or district council or liaison committee will have personal interest in those applications which relate to areas covered by those authorities. Are there any other interests to declare? No, thank you, members. Agenda item 8 is presentation of petitions under Standing Order 35. I have not received any petitions. Agenda item 9 is reports of the Chief Executive on planning applications to the County Council. And we are here for 2023/2353/02. Lots of suffixes. Leicestershire County Council, construction of a 2-storey teaching block comprising of 10 classrooms, 3 seminar rooms, 1 library, a post-16 study centre, and associated staff and student facilities at Iveshead School, Forest Street, Shepshed. Charlie Cookson, Planning Officer, is going to present this report. We were having a member of the public speaking, but I don't believe they could make it, so they have had to pull out of that. So we'll hand over to Julie. Would like to say something first, members?
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify the decision-making process in this instance because it is slightly unusual. Because Sports England have objected to the proposal and maintain their objection, if members are minded to approve against that advice, then we need to refer the application to the Secretary of State to see whether or not he would wish to call in and determine the application himself. So normally that's a 21-day process, but I thought I'd just clarify that for you today.
Okay, thank you, Julie, and thank you, Chair. So, this application is for the construction of a 2-storey teaching block and associated staff and student facilities, including the provision of a lock-up PE equipment container and changing facilities at Iveshead School. Iveshead School is located within the town of Shepshed, the existing buildings of which are situated centrally within a wider complex of educational and community uses. The site is accessed off Forest Street by a service road to the southwest of the site, as is depicted by the site location plans you can see on the screen there. The application site is made up of extensive areas of playing field to the north and east, with the existing Iveshead School building situated towards the southwest. Directly towards the southeast of the existing school buildings are Shepshed Toy Library and Hindlays Preschool, and to the west of the site is the new Bowman Academy, which is due to be completed later this year. The nearest residential receptors to the new block are approximately 270 metres to the north, approximately 215 metres to the south, and approximately 300 metres to the west. There are no nearby residential receptors to the east, with uses in the eastern vicinity being playing fields and the M1 motorway. A public right-of-way reference K68-1 and byway open to all traffic reference L17 runs along the western and northern boundaries of the site respectively. Here are some photos which were taken from our visit to the site and from the applicant. The top left and right image show a view of the existing playing fields where the proposed new block would be located, taken looking from the eastern side of the toy library. The top left photo would be the northern elevation and the top right the southern elevation of the new block. The bottom image is a view from the area of the new block looking towards the toy library and the preschool. This slide shows the specific location and layout of the proposed 2-storey block, which, as you can see, is located to the southeast of the existing school buildings. The proposed building would be rectangular in shape with 2 offshoots to the northern and southern elevations, and it would be accessed from the west by a new access road and pedestrian footpaths, one which runs parallel to the new access road and another to the southeast of the existing school buildings. Externally, there would be a plant compound and bin store to the south, and there will be a hard play area measuring 1,018 metres squared proposed to the east. 19 new parking spaces are proposed to the west of the new building. The ground floor plan of the building would have a gross internal floor area of 874.86 metres squared and would follow a layout similar to what you can see on the screen now. And the first floor would have a gross internal floor area of 834.83 metres squared and would also follow a similar layout to what you can see on the screen now. These are the western and eastern elevations of the proposed 2-storey building. It would have a flat roof to accommodate roof-mounted PV panels and would give the building a height of approximately 9.1 metres at its highest elevation. The western and eastern elevations would measure approximately 50.6 metres wide. And these are the northern and southern elevations, which would measure approximately 20.4 metres wide. Here you can see to the left the generated image of the proposed main entrance to the west of the new block, And the image to the right gives us a look at the eastern face, which backs onto the proposed play area. As part of the proposal, there would be some tree and vegetation removal. However, these will be replaced by 10 new heavy standard trees. Also, as part of the proposal, 4 bat boxes and 6 bird boxes would be installed within the woodland at the site. Landscape and ecology officers have reviewed the proposals and deemed such acceptable, subject to accordance with conditions. A sports equipment store and 2 changing room facilities are proposed to the north of the new block, as you can see circled in red on the right-hand image. These would be dark green in colour. The changing rooms would measure 2.7 metres in height, 3.9 metres in width and 13 metres in length. And the equipment store would measure 2.6 metres in height, 2.4 metres in width and 12 metres in length. The development would result in the loss of 3,690 metres squared of associated playing field space. To accommodate the loss of playing field, the redundant ashlar play area, which is situated to the north of the site as depicted on the plan, would be brought back into use. These are some photos of the current state of the ashlar play area as viewed from the field to the south. As you can see, it extends from the west and continues eastwards behind the trees and vegetations to the right of the image. The proposal for the disused ashlar play area is to create a mini 7v7 football or soccer pitch, including runoff and spectator area. This would measure approximately 3,692 metres squared. The remainder of the ashlar play area would be removed, topsoiled and seeded. There has been one objection to the planning application which has been received from Sport England. The other statutory consultees have either recommended planning conditions, informatives or offered no objection. Sport England's core objection was on the basis that an equal or greater quantity of playing field was not being provided to compensate for the loss. So, for clarity, the proposed block would create a loss of 3,690 metres squared of playing field. Originally, at the time of writing the report, the applicant provided replacement playing field at the ashlar play area equivalating to 3,640 metres squared of new playing field, which left a 50 metre square shortfall. But as has been addressed by the addendum report, after further liaison with the applicant, they have managed to expand this area, as seen on the slide, to create 3,696 metres squared of replacement playing field, which leads to an actual gain of 6 metres squared. This means the application would now accord with policies of the development plan and NPPF in respect to playing pitch quantity. However, at the time of this presentation, Sport England are yet to offer an updated reconsultation response, so their objection still stands, as has been considered in the recommendation of this report. It should also be noted that the school is agreeable to entering into a community use agreement, and a condition has been added to provide finalised details of such. There have been a total of 4 representations from this application from 2 members of the public. Accounting for this and comments from the local member and town council, there are three key topics of concern. The first is regarding the potential of increased probability of flooding. As both maps show on screen, the development lies within low flood risk zones. The application is supported by a flood risk assessment, which concluded the development is at low risk from a variety of flood types. The Environment Agency were consulted as part of the application process and provided no formal comments, having no fluvial flood risk concerns. Furthermore, the lead local flood authority offered no formal comment after the submission of relevant surface water information from the applicant, as has been addressed in the addendum. Therefore, on this basis, the proposed development is not considered at significant risk from flooding or likely to exacerbate flooding issues elsewhere. The second main concern surrounds highway safety, access and parking. The local highways authority has comprehensively reviewed the submitted highways information, including junction modelling, parking arrangements, trip generations, and is satisfied with their content and that the development would not have an unacceptable impact on the highway network. A query was raised regarding the viability of a one-way system being put in place at the site. However, the Highways Authority noted that it is not proposed as part of the development and that the results of the junction modelling showed that there were no recorded capacity concerns on the Loughborough Road or Forest Street. Therefore, Requiring this proposal to explore implementing a one-way route would not be reasonable. Questions were raised regarding the provision of a footpath to allow children to be dropped off at the rear car park to gain access into the school rather than having to cross grass or mud. This suggestion has been put to the applicant. However, they have stated the tree would need to be removed and children would still have to walk across the road to the lower car park, reducing any benefits. Such a footpath does not form part of this application, is of negligible weight and would not form a reason for refusal. The Highways Authority considered that the improvements to the site access are either not feasible or reasonable. However, safe visibility displays at the Loughborough Road Forestry access are achievable. As is noted in the addendum, the need to include the visibility display condition, which was condition 8, has been removed as following publication of the report. The Highways Authority have reviewed the condition and note that displays are contained entirely within the extents of the public highway. Therefore, it is considered that these can be achieved without the need to impose a planning condition upon the applicant. The final topic of concern was why other sites were not considered in light of the expansion around Shepshed as identified in the emerging local plan. However, it is recognised that there is an existing immediate need and future need for the proposed development at Iveshead, with the school needing to increase its admission number to 240 by 2025 to 26, and there already being a deficit in places as of January 2024. Other matters relating to location, design, amenity, landscape, ecology, heritage, public right-of-way, sustainability have all been assessed against the relevant planning policy and are considered acceptable. Therefore, accounting for the aforementioned and with Sport England's maintained objection, the recommendation is for the application to be permitted subject to the conditions set out in Appendix A and subject to the application being referred to the Secretary of State in accordance with the Town and Country Planning Direction and the Secretary of State deciding not to call in the application for its own determination. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. We have only one speaker today, which is Ian Sharp. If you'd like to take your usual seat, please. You know the rules and the procedure. 5 minutes and Ewan will give you a heads up.
Thank you, Chair, for the opportunity to speak this afternoon. My name is Ian Sharp. I'm the Service Manager for School Organisation and Children and Family Services, and we make sure as a team we fulfil the County Council's statutory responsibility to ensure that there are enough good, sufficient school places across the county of Leicestershire. Iveshead School is a popular school and is very popular within its own community. Currently, 87% of the children who go to the school are from its local community and its local catchment. Very few children come from outside of that area. Considering their significant development in the Shepshed area and also with the west of Loughborough development, which is 2,400 homes, there is a need to expand the school. Currently, the school joined the Mowbray Education Trust on the 1st of December in 2020 and was our last secondary school to convert to academy status in Leicestershire. The Trust is currently supporting the school to make sure that high standards can be achieved and will be maintained and sustained going forward. Currently, the school has approximately 950 children on roll, and that is looking to expand in the years to come. So we are proposing that the school will move from an admission number of 150 to 240 by September next year. This will allow for the known need in the area and the expansion of the school. The school moving forward has a sixth form. One of the facilities that will be enhanced as part of this project is there will be a sixth form centre provided, a dedicated sixth form centre within the building, along with teaching classrooms. And apart from the new building and what's going to be provided externally, there will also be some remodelling of existing rooms inside the school to create additional science places as well. All of this started with an analysis against the DfE guidelines, Build Bulletin 103, so we could assess what was actually needed going forward. We've worked closely with the school and the education providers on this shared campus to ensure that the facility will deliver a high level of accommodation to support good teaching and learning. The project is being paid for from two sources, mainly Section 106 funding. There's currently 5 million banked, and there's still of £6 million that has been secured. The remaining will come from DfE basic need funding. The school, obviously Sport England have objected at the moment. Just to make clear that when we do the analysis of the school and its facilities, we also look at what's being provided externally to ensure children have space for adequate outdoor play curriculum. And at the moment, with the expansion, the school would have adequate space. However, Sport England are trying to protect playing field space, and which is understandable. And we have put forward mitigation measures, which we hope when they have an opportunity to respond, they will be satisfied with. Thank you. If there's any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Thank you, Ian. So we'll just open up to the panel or any points of clarification. Mr. Harrison.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Obviously, I'm concerned about the Sport England implication. I've been involved with Sport England over many years and currently looking at provision of football pitches. So I'm delighted to see that there's been a massive reconsideration. Why on earth it wasn't done early doors, I don't know, but obviously it would have been a real bit of a struggle this afternoon, thinking, well, we're going to go against them and what's the protocol and how should we behave professionally. So I'm absolutely relieved with that, and I'm delighted and congratulate you and the team who's ever responsible for that. Change of mind and direction is superb. Well done. I am concerned, however, over the schools. This is the third time you've appeared in recent times, and well done to you, sir. But it's the same storyline. We've got no answer to what's happening to the schools regarding access for children coming in the morning. It's dropped off on a street. We don't seem to have worked out how we could engineer logistically an entrance, a decent sized curve to get 20, 30 cars at a time.
Yeah, Mr. Harrison, what's the point of clarification?
Well, I'm going to ask for it now. The clarification, are they? But thank you for your interjection, Chairman. So are you able to look at this going forward? Because obviously we haven't got it here in a way, but we've got to put a block on this carrying on, because virtually every school we see is
Mr. Harrison, we're here to talk about this application,
okay.
Not future, not anything else.
All right.
Please, point of clarification.
All right. Okay. Well, I've made my point.
Okay, I think all I can do is assure the committee that going forward, we are trying to resolve as many of these access issues as we can. However, educationally, it is always best if we can with secondary schools to expand existing provision, because there's already an established infrastructure. And therefore, it's not like starting afresh like we do with some of the primary schools where we're building on new sites, and those matters are easier to address. But we are trying to do our best to address them, and we are working closely with highways and planning colleagues when we do look at these sites.
Thank you, Ian. Any other points of clarification from Mrs. Fry?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the officers for their explanation. Just, I might be being a bit thick here. If Sport England haven't had a chance to look at this amendment to the more land available for them, but if we approve this today, their objection still holds.
Can I interject, Ms. Fry, because I think before we move to the vote, I will be inviting Julie to explain what those options.
So we still have to go to the secretary.
Yeah, so
that's what
it will be clarified for you.
Even if they then change their mind.
It will be clarified for all members ahead of the vote. So thank you, Mr. Any other points of clarification from Mr. Sharp? Okay, thank you, Mr. Sharp.
Thank you.
Right, up. Is this for Mr. Sharp or for the planning officer? Right, okay, thank you. Mr. Allen.
Thank you very much, Chair. So just quickly raising the Sports England thing, from district level, they seem to have a blanket policy of objecting to anything that affects playing fields. Whether those playing fields have been disused for years, or if it's playing fields that have had planning permission but never actually implemented, they will object, whatever. I have no particular concerns about that particular aspect of this and happy to move the recommendation. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Allen. But before we move to proposals and seconds and vote, I would invite Julie to just explain the Sport England dynamics if members are happy. Thank you.
We fully anticipate that Sports England will withdraw their objection because the increase in size of the play area now meets their exception policy and exceeds it. We simply haven't been able to get a hold of them. We think they've been consulted for a couple of weeks now. Charlie has been trying very hard to phone them over the past few days. We've tried to escalate it to the manager to see if we get somebody else to step in, but our application's been dealt with by the manager, so we think it's a matter of half term rather than them ignoring us. So what we were going to suggest is we will have to refer to the Secretary of State if the objection isn't removed. However, if the objection is removed, then we don't have to. You can make the decision. So what I was going to suggest was we try a few days next week to get a hold of Sports England to see if they would wish to withdraw their objection and then write to the Secretary of State. So we won't do it immediately. We'll take a few days, try and speak to Sports England, clarify the position. If they still object, we'll send it off to the Secretary of State. As I say, it's a 21-day process for him to determine whether or not he wants to call it in. In my professional opinion, I would be really surprised if he does, because again, there's now an over provision against what's been lost. But there's always that possibility.
Thank you, Julian. Hopefully members have got a better understanding of what that logistical challenge is. Mr. Grimley, I do believe you had your hand up.
I mean, I was just going to pick up on Sports England thing. I'm quite comfortable that we have gone over and above what the area they'd asked for. I do know what it's like dealing with these statutory consultees, because I do quite a lot of that myself. So I do have sympathy with the officer on that, as it seems to be a war. I mean, I don't know if it'd been formally proposed, but if not, I'll formally propose the officer's recommendation here.
So the proposal would be for the planning application as tabled in front of you with the amendment. Okay, so Mr. Allen, you actually made the first proposal. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I'm happy with that, Chair.
Mr. Grimley? Right. Any other comment? Mr. Charlesworth?
Yeah, you already know my views on this. Sport England are a statutory consultee, and we have to abide by the rules, whatever their input or lack of it is. So I think we're going down the right route here. But I personally will contact Sport England and remind them of their responsibilities. See how far I get.
Thank you, Mr. Charles. I think for the officers, any help and support and encouragement for Sport England to respond would be helpful. We can't hold planning applications up waiting for people to respond when they've been given reasonable opportunity to respond. So, with no further questions, we have a proposer, we have a seconder. All those in favour with the amendment? That is unanimous. Thank you, members. So, okay. So thank you for that, members, officers. So we'll take your lead, Julie, on delaying that little bit, just to see if you can get Sport England to engage with you. And Mr. Charlesworth is going to assist you in that. So agenda item 10 is any other items which the chairman has decided to take as urgent. There are no other urgent items. The agenda item 11 is the dates of the future meetings. They are tabled in your agenda pack, if members could all take note of those. I will now draw this meeting to a close at 29 minutes past 2. Thank you, members. Have safe travels home.